rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
You know, folks, it's just, I'm getting sick and tired of these damn prices. They're always rising. You know, gas prices are terrible. Movie prices going up. The cost of meat is skyrocketed. Everything is, God, you try to order an Uber, a Lyft, those prices are double than they were a year ago. Folks, everything is becoming out of whack. Inflation is real in this country. It really is. And if we are not dealing with inflation, we're dealing with civil unjust. We're dealing with discriminatory actions against crap that just shouldn't even be brought up. Cross-genderness in this country is out of control. Folks, when is this crap going to end? When is it going to end? I don't know. I shake my head on this sometimes out of disgust, out of embarrassing. It's terrible. It really is, folks. Crap.
Welcome to the Patriot Angle Podcast. A podcast unfiltered, unscripted, raw. Your host, Mike. Hey folks, welcome to another edition to the Patriot Angle Podcast. I'm your host, Mike. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, folks. I want to get into a couple of topics. I want to get into inflation. Brought that into the show a couple episodes back. Last week I talked about a little bit of it. Earlier this week, Monday, I got into a little bit of the inflation of what's going on with the country here under the Biden administration. And folks, it's really difficult that this inflation is pretty much hurting just about every industry there is. It's hurting Hollywood. The Biden economy is hurting Hollywood. Production hit by inflation as price of construction material skyrockets. Basically, what it's trying to say is that the production executive said key supplies are about 10% higher compared to just a few months ago, according to a report in the Hollywood Reporter. That includes plywood, which now costs 3 times as much as it used to, as well as items including steel, glass, and paint. So, just to make a movie now, it's a lot higher than it was just a few months ago. And it's going to get worse, folks. It's going to get worse. Prices are going to go up. They're going to skyrocket. We're seeing that with gas. Gas slowly, fueling up the stations across America. The pipeline is now active again, so that's good. But in the last 3 months, folks, the cost of materials have shot through the roof. Founder Doug Jeffrey had said of 41 Sets, a North Hollywood company that specializes in set design and construction, told the reporter, Hollywood Reporter, this. Some believe Hollywood's inflation woes could be even higher. An executive producer on NBC's Blackish, Grownish and Mixish, told the reporter that on the shows that I do, it's gone from maybe $25,000 in total materials to $10,000 of that being lumber to $45,000 or so. Supply chain shortages are now forcing Hollywood to take extraordinary measures, such as spreading out production geographically so that supply isn't strained in given location, according to the reporter. Under President Biden, folks, inflation has returned with a vengeance as consumers and businesses alike face soaring prices for basic necessities. And folks, you can go back, to, like I said, a few months ago, with the gas prices. I mean, the gas prices now are surging. With the current average price, folks, of $3.40, about $3.45 a gallon, possibly higher depending on the location of where you're at, for regular gallon of gas. And that goes up to about 14.3 cents per gallon from a week ago, and $1.06 higher than a year ago. Folks, this inflation is affecting the entire country. Not only is it affecting the Hollywood industry, movie making, TV shows and such, but it's affecting supply chains. I mean, the trucks are having issues, fueling up, getting workers to the sites. There's different distribution centers, I'm told, are having shortage of staff. Folks, it's terrible. It's terrible. Republicans have said rising prices are a direct consequence of the Biden administration's irresponsible spending. Yes, their spending, folks, is out of control. Out of control. It's out of control. Just coming out of Breitbart News, Biden has proposed a $6.1 trillion annual budget that would hike taxes and spend trillions on nanny state initiatives, including free childcare and preschool, free community college, as well as projects involving social energy and electric cars. Yeah, he wants to put electric cars out there, thinking that that's going to be the answer to the global heat or global whatever. I mean, it's one thing after the other with this administration. It's terrible, folks. It gets worse. It gets worse. Now, the Federal Reserve. Oh, you got to hear this, folks. The Federal Reserve is now seeing widespread supply chain disruptions, labor shortages, and rising prices. I just mentioned that. A lot of supply chains, such as Walmart, Amazon, all the big box giants, are seeing labor shortages. No one wants to go to work. Why go to work when you can get a Biden check, right? A COVID relief unemployment check of $300. Yeah, stay home. Stay home. You don't have to go to work. According to AOC, I mean, that's what she said, right? Why bust your ass and working, 60, 70 plus hours a week when you can just stay home and collect from the federal government, right? Yeah. A new report says, with these shortages, folks, that the U.S. economy grew at somewhat faster pace in April and May, despite widespread shortages of labor and materials that left many businesses struggling to keep up with demand. Folks, the Federal Reserve reported on Wednesday that the latest survey of economic conditions around the nation, several of the central bank's districts, reported businesses were choked by a lack of willing and available workers and supply chain problems. Yes, we're having a lot of supply chain problems. Not only supply chain problems, but we're having manufacturing problems too. And that's being reported. That's also affecting materials. It's affecting, like I said, delivery delays. Folks, this inflation is terrible under the Biden administration. It's terrible. And God willing, I hope this ends soon, because if it continues, folks, you're going to see a collapse, probably the worst collapse of an American economy and probably American history. And you can all blame Biden for doing this, because just a short period of time, folks, we had a president by the name of Donald J. Trump that had an economy rocketing, flourishing, great, good paying jobs, low unemployment rates, low welfare rates. I mean, meaning people were more off of welfare and having better jobs than they were under Trump than any other presidential administration. And you want to fact check that? Go ahead and fact check it. I dare you. Because you'll see the numbers. They don't compare. They don't compare to any president. You can't even compare the numbers under Biden now that you can compare under Trump. Because Trump just, I mean, there's no comparison. No comparison at all. businesses said that they found it difficult to find new workers, especially low-wage hourly workers, truck drivers, and skilled tradesmen, forcing them to reduce output and cut hours of operation. From Boston to San Francisco, the picture across the country was one of the strong consumer demand, folks. Strong demand for labor from businesses, running into shortage of workers and disrupted supply chains. Folks, we are seeing shortage 53 times, up from 37 in the prior report. And that's coming through all over the board here in the country, all over the board. Most analysts believe that the inflation that we're seeing here in the country is going to worse. It's going to get worse by the month. I mean, by possibly October, November of this year, it's going to be 10 times higher than it is now. Folks, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? Well, we don't know. We don't know. I had the opportunity, I had a caller that called into the show. This was just yesterday, so I want to plug in this caller here just now that's basically telling me what's going on in the ride-sharing business. You know, how COVID and everything else is affecting her way of life and everything else. You got to check this out, guys. We'll be right back after these words, and I'm going to plug in this sound clip that I had a caller call in the show. Like I said, just yesterday. You got to check this out, guys. We'll be right back after these words. Don't go anywhere.
Know how to get a free phone service and a new tablet. Q-Link Wireless is a government program giving you unlimited data, talk, and text on America's largest 5G network entirely for free. Who wouldn't love to get rid of their cell phone bill? Contracts? Gone. Monthly bill? Gone. Fees? Totally gone. New customers are getting a new tablet. This is a limited time offer, so sign up now. Visit QLinkWireless.com.
Patriot Angle.
I don't know. Because like I said, this one little guy got in my car. And then he gonna sit there and say, oh, I didn't come to work that week because I had COVID. Man, he was, so I told him, I said, now, if you just got diagnosed saying that you got COVID, what are you doing out?
Yeah, right.
Because you had it last week. You didn't go to work last week.
Yeah.
That's not 14 days.
Yeah. You know what he's doing, right? He's bringing up the COVID as an excuse not to go to work. So he can get that LOA, that benefit from his company.
No, they weren't giving it out.
They weren't. Oh, really? Oh, wow.
IHOP wasn't giving it out. He was at IHOP.
Oh, IHOP?
Yeah.
Oh.
But
yeah.
you know, a lot of companies didn't give it out.
Yeah, they're not giving it out because there's a lot of people that are taking advantage of it. They're saying they have it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people may have it, but then there may be some of those people that are just using it as an excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
To reap the benefits, because there are some big companies, you know, that will allow you to take the time off. You won't get disciplined. I mean, you won't get, written up, or
Exactly.
Whatever company does that. The point system. A lot of people do the point system.
Yeah.
No, you won't get written up. You just go onto a website. You tell them, hey, I got COVID-19, and blah 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 blah. And then you fill out a scenario, and then you get what's called medical leave of absence. And then you got to do the whole, what, you said 14 days or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's...
Yeah, that was just like, it was crazy because now me and a friend of mine, we have been exposed around a person
Yeah.
that had it, but when my test results came back that I didn't have it, I started back driving.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't going to drive knowing that I had been around somebody
Yeah.
that tested positive for it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to put nobody else's life in risk because mine was already in risk because I didn't know if I had it or not.
But I think as a lot of states and a lot of, I mean, you see these governors now, DeSantis, you see, Florida, you see, Kemp, you see, Texas, you see all these mainly these conservative states that are really like, they're starting to now than it was first introduced here last year, and what doesn't make sense is you have restaurants that are open, right? You have a lot of states, right? Restaurants being opened.
I'm driving. So and like I said, it is crazy that she said, she called him, she emailed and said, look, what should I do? Because I just found out that my brother tested positive for COVID.
Oh, wow.
So they told her, well, don't come back to work until you get your test results till it say negative. Till you find out if you're negative or not. And she said, I'm ready, but they don't even want the paperwork.
Oh, wow.
But it's crazy, like, okay, she could have just been telling you that to tell you that.
Yeah.
But I got his results right here because I was the one that took him to the doctor.
Oh, wow.
And I mean to the hospital because he was sick. He was working out at Hitachi.
Yeah.
They got him home.
But you know what doesn't make sense? You can go to a restaurant right now, right? And this is how politicized it's becoming. You can go to a restaurant right now without a mask on, right? Sit down like it's a normal life, normal scenario, just normalized, right? Like from, pre-COVID, I want to say, like pre-COVID, maybe like January, February of last year, right?
Yeah.
Go to a restaurant, unmasked, everything, sit down, everything. Okay? And then when you go outside, you got to put your mask on, you got to do this, you got to do that. So what, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense where you can go to a restaurant unmasked and then outside you have to put a mask on. I mean, it's almost like people are being, hypocrites.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to catch a restaurant when you're eating food, but you will catch COVID if you're out and about.
Exactly.
I guess COVID doesn't affect people when they're eating.
This place is going to be on the right or the left?
It's going to be on the right hand side.
Okay. I think I know where I'm going.
But it's just, I don't know.
I know. But yeah, and I know a couple people hit me up on Facebook talking about, "Is you driving this week?"
Yeah.
I'm not there last week. I said, nope. And they said, oh, okay, I need a ride. I said, well, and I can't find a Lyft. I said, well, I can't turn off. And I told him, I said, I'm not turning on. I can't turn off. I'm not turning off.
Wow.
And I explained to him and told him why. I said, I just had to go. I'm not going to lie to my clients, period.
Yeah.
I said, so I'm not turning back on until my test results come back.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I got tested back in March, right? Back in March. And the lady came up to me and she says, did you want your test results? And I said, yeah, don't even bother. I know what the result is anyway. I can tell you right now. And she said, oh, you seen the results already? I said, no, I didn't see the results, but I can tell you that I'm negative for COVID-19. She says, well, how do you know? I said, because I know my body.
Yeah.
I know my body. If you know your body, it's just common sense theory. So she told me, she says, well, they came back negative. I said, yeah, I know that. She says, I'm very intrigued on how it's negative, and you had said to me prior, when we were doing the questionnaire and everything, have you been around people with COVID-19? Have you been unmasked? And these little questions that they tell you. And I say, yeah, of course I've been around people probably that had it, unmasked, masked, this and that, all different scenarios. I like to go jogging sometimes. I'm sure that I passed somebody that probably had a sniffle or a sneeze.
Yep.
And the nurse was very intrigued that I didn't have it. She says, you're telling me you haven't contracted this thing in a year? I said, no. She's scratching her head. She's like, I don't understand this.
I ain't had it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm pretty sure people being in my car that I had it or
All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed that little sound clip here I plugged into the show. That was a Lyft driver that called into the show, left me a voice message actually through my podcast feed. That was yesterday. Decided to plug that into the show today, folks. She was basically, I mean, we got to sit down and talk over the phone for a good 6-7 minutes, and she literally was telling me not only is inflation affecting, like I said, not only is this affecting the Hollywood industry and other, supply chains and just different manufacturing plants. It's affecting every industry in this country. It's even affecting the ride-sharing business, and she happens to be in the ride-sharing business. And she's telling me how much of her livelihood has changed in this last year of this COVID era / inflation nation, so to speak, right? And, she's just basically telling me, how much, has changed and everything else. She's starting to see less people ordering ride-sharing services. She has to drive, in great distances to pick people up. Folks, it's terrible. It's terrible times that we're suffering from in this country. Are we seeing a great collapse of this economy? You're damn right we are. We are seeing probably the scariest financial collapse in modern day history. Are we entering a hyperinflation era? I think it's on the horizon. I think it is on the horizon. It's the hyperinflation, folks. It's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. There are people now making a lot less than they were a year ago. Under the Trump administration, they were making a hell of a lot more. Lower taxes, higher paying jobs. Now you get a job these days, a good paying job. It's very rare. Well, you have a different president in the White House now, but with the Trump administration, folks, oh my God, it was like living in paradise. With Biden, it's like living in hell. It really is. You get high prices in gas, high taxes. The stock market sucks now. If y'all live off the stock market, that's a thing of the past now. There are less people in investing in stock now in 2021 than they were 2, 3, 4 years ago. It's a lot different now. America is like a third world country. It's terrible. It's terrible. We are seeing, folks, the greatest collapse. I don't want to say great, but it's starting to become the great collapse. We are entering a hyperinflation era of modern day history. Folks, there are more people making more money now living off the federal government than actual people working. And the reason for that is there's a message being brought to the American people from this type of administration that why work, bust your ass for 60 plus hours a week when you can just sit home and do what you want, watch TV, sit on your ass and collect from the federal government. I mean, we are seeing massive amounts of labor shortages in this country, and it's terrible. I think this economic collapse is worse than the Great Depression in the 1930s through the 50s. It's a lot worse. Like I said, this is the scariest financial collapse in American history. But no. We had to hear from Biden for the last year saying, oh, he's gonna make America better and he's gonna build back better. What has he done in the last year? Hasn't done a damn thing. A damn thing. The only thing he's doing is, and he's printing money. which, folks, is actually destroying the value of the dollar. I've said that in other podcasts. It's destroying it, folks. The dollar bill isn't really worth nothing that it's printed on anymore. The actual dollar is probably worth about a good 25 cents, believe it or not. And that's a national embarrassment. A national embarrassment. Not only are we in a hyperinflation, but look at the stock market. Folks, we are in a stock market bubble. What do I mean by that? Oh, you gotta listen to what I'm talking about. That we are in a stock market bubble. Stock market bubble. That the stock market, like I said, if you still have stock and you still trust that your stock is, gonna eventually rise, which I don't see it rising anytime soon. The stock market it's in a bubble. It goes, it's high one day, it's low the other day. But, it's always been like that. But under this administration, he's keeping it, sort of stuck. Sort of stuck. And, the constant fear of an imminent bubble burst has gotten really worrisome lately. As a newbie, if you do invest in the stock, imagine obtaining a six-figure salary, right, or an income without being affected by a downtrend, right? You could be doing great, literally great. And what I mean by that is, the stock market is putting a big strain on companies, and that's part of the inflation. You can't invest into stock as a private stock investor with this bubble. You have to learn to work around it. And I'll get into that in another time. I just thought I threw that in there. The inflation is affecting companies, with the shortages, everything that depends on sale. And that's how the stock works. If the company does well in sales, their stocks are going to be off the charts. Well, a lot of companies are not doing so great because a lot of these companies, folks, are literally surviving on pretty much stimulus checks. And what I mean by that is, yes, these companies got some bailouts with the stimulus. The last, 3 stimulus now, possibly a fourth, I'm told. A fourth stimulus is going to be in the works. But, a lot of these companies are depending off of people spending their stimulus. Going to stores and buying groceries and whatnot, general merchandise, stuff like that. So a lot of these companies are basically are literally surviving off of people spending their stimulus checks on merchandise in stores. Folks, that's not going to build an economy. Like I said, the more you print money, the more you create a hyperinflation. And we're seeing that all over the place. All over the place. Why should we be worried? Well, maybe we should plug this video in and give everybody a little life lesson. I want to plug in this video here of the 2020 inflation increase and why you should be worried. What is inflation? It's going to be explained right here in this video. Because a lot of people are, they're questioning their heads. They're like, what's this inflation thing, Mike? Should I be worried? Should I, not invest in stock? Should I, watch my 401k? You should watch all of it, folks. All of it. Not only, does the inflation affect your personal income, it affects everything that you have. Your stock, maybe you have a 401k. It affects all that, folks. All that. So, check out this video here. I want to plug it in the show. I'll just plug a little bit of it. The video is about 30 minutes, but, I'm just going to plug in maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes of it. Just give you an idea of just what we're in for, folks. Check this out.
And in case you're new here, my name is Lena. I'm a licensed certified public accountant. Recently, we've all been hearing about inflation. Not only have we been hearing about it, but I think we all noticed that prices have gone up significantly, but our salaries and wages remained relatively the same. In this video, I will explain what inflation is. We will look at an example, talk about what causes prices to rise, and the rate of inflation in the United States today. So let's get started. Inflation describes the rise in prices and a slow decline in purchasing power of your dollars over time. The impact of inflation may seem small in the short term, but over the course of years and decades, inflation can drastically erode the purchasing power of your savings account. So let's take a look at a quick illustration, something that we all can relate to. This is an excellent illustration of what inflation is. As you can see, in 1970, you could get a cup of coffee for only 25 cents, whereas now you would probably be able to get less than a quarter of that cup for that much. Though it can be frustrating to think about your dollars losing value, most economists consider a small amount of inflation a sign of a healthy economy. A moderate inflation rate encourages you to spend or to invest your money today rather than stuff it under your mattress and watch its value diminish. Inflation can become a destructive force in an economy.
I was making so much money with DoorDash. I wanted to earn money in my free time, but I didn't want to go out and get a boring 9 to 5. That's when I found out how much money my friend was making with DoorDash. There are opportunities in over 4,000 cities. Signing up was super easy. And before long, I was already making deliveries. Now, I get to make my own schedule and keep 100% of my tips. Download the DoorDash driver app and get started today.
So basically, folks, you just heard a sound clip here. Welcome back to the show. You just heard a sound clip here on the show, plugged in a little bit of, what's inflation, how it's affecting, the general U.S. economy. You can clearly see back in 1925 or something, a cup of coffee costed, 25 cents or something like that, she said. Now it's as high as $3-4, depending on the company you go to. Folks, it's, like I said, according to Biden now, and this is coming out of Joe Biden's mouth here, the business investment will basically accelerate under his administration. Yeah, basically, he's now saying that businesses may now engage in a inflationary behavior known as buy in advance, which is they rush to spend on raw materials, capital goods, and investories in an effort to stay ahead of future price hikes. Basically, he's given the buying power to all big box giants, big companies, so that way, and normally if they were to ship something, 2 pallets, they can actually order 4 pallets or 6 pallets to be ahead. Basically, what he's trying to say, folks, is, go ahead and, buy big so that way you're never short. Well, folks, it shouldn't be like that. You should never buy big or buy in advance because of what's going on right now. You should be able to buy in a normal capacity. Why would you have to buy big? Well, you have to buy big because you have a Nimrod as a president that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Oh, yeah, go ahead and buy big, yeah, so you don't have shortage. Well, we don't have to worry about shortage because of the situation that we're in. Boy. Folks, it gets worse and worse and worse. Another report. Oh, you got to listen to this. Here's another report here. More shortages, folks. Like we don't need any more, right? 20%, folks, of America's beef production is completely wiped out. Yeah, that was after the JBS cyber attack. Approximately 20% of the United States beef capacity has been wiped out following a cyber attack on JBS SA, the largest meat producer in the world, according to a Tuesday's report this past Tuesday. Bloomberg News reports that the 5 biggest beef plants in the United States, which altogether handle 22,500 cattle a day, halted processing following a weekend attack on a Brazilian company's computer networks, according to the post on Facebook. Labor unions and employees. Those outages, folks, wiped out nearly a fifth of America's production. Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? The company's backup servers, folks, were not affected, and it's effectively working with incident response firm to restore its systems as soon as possible. I hope. I mean, I like my beef. I like my meat, folks. I like to go to the store and get a thing of pork chops every now and then. You're telling me that it's 20% out of capacity? I hope they get the everything back in order. I really do. I really do. Meanwhile, folks, this is coming Tuesday here, that the White House said Tuesday that Russia was likely the origin of the cyber attack. Oh, you blame it on Russia. Blame it on Russia. Like, we got more problems with that country. I mean, And then it goes on to close and says that JBS notified the administrations that the ransom demand came from a criminal organization likely based in Russia. Folks, I don't understand this. I really don't. I really don't understand the craziness that's coming out. I mean, it's downright crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Telling you. And other news here. Oh, did you hear the I want to get out of the inflation thing here. I know it's been a topic here on the show today. But I want to get into the what the hell is it? I lost my train of thought. See, this is what happens, It's okay. I'll get it there. Oh, the what the hell was it? Oh God, come on, Mike. Ron DeSantis story. Oh my God, that's buzzing. That's buzzing the social media, Twitter, all over the place. Ron DeSantis just signed a bill. I believe it was earlier today. Ron DeSantis ending. Big step for DeSantis. It's awesome. So yes, folks, Florida has become the latest U.S. state to ban transgender from participating in sports at public schools and colleges. That's great news. I'll go into a little bit of it. That the state's Republican governor Ron DeSantis signed this measure into law this past Tuesday, folks. So this is just coming out yesterday. That the law says women and girls must play on the teams of their biological sex on their birth certificate. Meaning that, folks, here, I'll narrate it for you, all right? Because sometimes I get a couple little liberals that are, pop up on the show, If your birth certificate, folks, ladies and gentlemen, says female, that means you are a female. You must play according to your biological sex of the gender that was listed on the birth certificate. And you should. If you were born a female, folks, you can't go around telling somebody that, oh, I'm not a female, I'm a boy. People are going to look at you with, five heads and like, what the hell is this guy talking about or woman talking about? Of course, now they don't want to be a female, they want to be a boy. And of course, you got this from the LGBT activists, have now denounced the move as discriminatory.
Yes, they're saying it's discriminatory for Ron DeSantis to sign this law into effect. How's it discriminatory? How's it discriminatory? And oh yeah, they're going to say the group is going to vow to launch a legal challenge. Yeah, good luck with that in federal court, if it goes that far. Folks, how in the hell is it discriminatory? If your birth certificate says you're a female, you're telling me you have the right to participate in boy sports? I don't know, folks. The country getting more nutty and nuttier day by day. It's craziness. Craziness. It goes into here saying that we believe that very important that the integrity of these competitions are preserved. DeSantis said as he signed the law at a Christian school in Jacksonville City, we're going to go based on biological and biologically. Hold on, folks. Let me get a water here. You know me. You guys come to know me for the years. I get a little heated, and sometimes I mix my words up. But basically, he's saying that we're going to go on a biologically. There I go. I got to get the words in. Not based on ideologically when we're doing sports. The move comes as Republican-led states push back against pro-LGBT policies supported by the administration of a Democratic U.S. President Joe Biden. Because we know Joe Biden supports this LGBT thing. To me, folks, it's crap. Don't get me wrong. Whatever floats your boat. You want to be into chicks. If you're a girl, you want to be into chicks, go ahead. And if you're a man, you want to be into man, go ahead. Whatever floats your boat. But don't mix that on a political note, thinking that you have the right as a cross-gender or whatever the hell you want to call yourselves to go play in an opposite sex or a gender on a sport. First of all, folks, it's disgusting and it's not right. It's not right. Would you want like I said, here's the logic behind it, folks. Would you want maybe possibly your grade school children having to partay in this and having this in the school system? In some states already is. Very disturbing, folks. Like I said, half the crap that we see in this country, I never experienced this when I was in grade school, in elementary, middle school, and high school. I never seen this crap that we see today because the society would not allow it. Would not allow it. So what does this law say? The Florida law, folks, and like I said, great for Ron DeSantis stepping up with this new law. Should be in every state. Don't get me wrong. Should be in every damn state. What does this law say, folks? That the Florida law defines as an athlete's sex as it's slated on the official documents at birth. It's called the Fairness in Women's Sports Act. The law says that sports teams for girls and women may not open to students of the male sex. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't, folks. Because not only is that disturbing, but it's disgusting. It's not clear whether all female athletes must now show their birth certificates to be in sports teams. They should. They should. But, if they do that, they're going, you're going to get a group. You're going to get a group that's going to come in and say, that's discriminatory. Yes, you're discriminating us. Folks, it's not discriminating. If you were born a woman, you're a woman. There's no hiding that. There's no hiding it. It's a law now, folks. It's a law in Florida. And like I said, it should be in every damn state that there is. Every 50 states of America. It's a law. You don't like the law? Oh, well. It's a law. Representative Carlos G. Smith also tweets here that very proud of all of the trans leaders and allies who came together on the short notice to speak against speak against and condemn
at Governor Ron DeSantis for signing the trans sports ban into law. When trans kids are under attack, what does Orlando do? Stand up, fight back. What the folks, let me stop here for a minute. You want to be a transgender, you want to be you want to be gay, you want to be bi, you want to be whatever floats your boat. This crap is always going to fuel transphobia. And it puts vulnerability kids at risk for no good reason. It's always going to do that, folks. It's always going to do that. You're always going to have transphobia in this country. Like I said, I'm proud of Ron DeSantis stepping up, making this into law. But folks, it shouldn't go that far. It shouldn't go that. We shouldn't have to have a law in this country to follow common law. Do you understand where I'm getting at, folks? I mean, I said it once, and I'll say it again and again and again. Folks, it's. I'm sorry. I just don't understand this. I really don't. I don't understand that every single time that somebody now makes a law, it's always discriminatory. Or it's discriminating against their cause. So, it's just like tweet after tweet after tweet. I'm looking at this whole article. There's tweets after tweets after tweets, social media posting, TikToking, all this crap coming after DeSantis, saying that, he's discriminating kids and everything else, and he's putting the well-being and safety against transgender children and this and that, and it's based on false narratives. I mean, folks, here's another tweet. Transgender kids are kids. Transgender girls are girls. Let all children, they deserve the opportunity to play with sports with their friends and be part of the team. Folks, there's nothing. Let me set the stage here. There's nothing wrong with boys and girls playing sports together. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong with where I'm getting at next, and I hope everybody understands the differences here, that when the sporting event is done, the girls need to go back to the girls' locker room, and the boys have to go back to the boys' locker room. That does not give the right to just say, okay, I consider myself a girl when I'm really a boy, and I can go back to the girls' locker room. Folks, it doesn't work that way. You're born with a penis. You don't all of a sudden, grow a vagina in a couple of minutes. I mean, do you get the point? Do you get where I'm getting at? I mean, because this has to stop, folks. This has to stop, and we need to have lawmakers in Congress stop influencing this like it's a simple change. No, it's not a change. You're a girl, you're a girl. You're a boy, you're a boy. If your birth certificate said girl on your birth certificate, doesn't necessarily mean that you can just change it and say I'm a girl and denounce that you're a girl now, even though it said boy. I hope we understand this. Check this video out here. I want to plug this in. Coming at Sharon Davies on trans women in sports. Oh, listen to this.
Here are the answers.
So all you need to do is reduce your testosterone level to either 5 if it's the IAAF recommendations, or 10 if it's the IOC guidelines.
No, right.
At the moment, all of the associations are kind of finding their way. Some of them, like the American Powerlifting Association, said, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to ring fence female athletes. We're going to go XX-born athletes are going to be protected, and we're going to say, no, this is not going to happen. And that's where I'm coming from.
And you like that, because it seems to me underpinning your grave concerns about what is happening with these transgender athletes is a belief that they are gaming the system, that they are...
That they could potentially game the system.
Well, you seem to believe... Let me quote your tweet, which caused an awful lot of controversy. You tweeted out recently, to protect women's sport, those with a male sex advantage should not be able to compete in women's sport. As though their entire objective was simply to sort of transition for the purposes of winning medals as women.
I didn't say that in that tweet.
No,
I didn't say that in that tweet. So you're putting those words in... No, it's not.
So you
not what
don't
I'm saying
believe that
at all.
people are gaming the system for a sporting advantage?
No, I'm saying that there's the potential for a rule to be broken or bent or used the same way that there was potential with the East Germans all those years ago. And what I'm saying is I don't understand how the potential of a 10% benefit, which is the difference on the whole between male and female elite performance. In some sports, it's 20%. All right, so high jump, for example, is I think 18 or 19%, the difference between an elite female versus an elite man. If you just ignore that potential benefit, women, XX-born natal females will not be able to win any of their medals, any of their sports scholarships, any of their profile opportunities to be able to get a platform. How is that fair? We are in a society where 50%...
Oh, give it a break. Give it a break. I don't want to hear this crap anymore. Do not want to hear this crap anymore. Like I said, folks, this is a hard talk topics this week here on the podcast. I got into inflation. I kind of ended the show on another note here with transgenderness here in sports, and it's affecting the country very, very drastically. It's affecting it a very negative way, folks. We cannot have this crap in this country. You cannot have transgenderness in sports. That's my closing, folks. It's my closing. Hope everybody enjoyed this podcast. I hope everybody learned something from this podcast. You can hear all previous podcast episodes, folks, on Spotify, Apple, Google. Anywhere you hear a podcast, just search in your search bar, whether you have an Apple phone or an Android. The Patriot Angle podcast will pop up on just about every platform there is, including our social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. Check us out, guys. Like I said, we're up to about 75. This is going to be the 75th episode. Check us out, folks. This podcast is unscripted, it's raw, and it's unfiltered. With that being said, folks, thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you on Friday's podcast. Have a good rest of your week.
You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle podcast, an Anchor platform.